Welcome to Chasing Winners. Peter O'Neill, David Shortte and Jesse Erenshaw are about to join you to preview the meeting from Mandurah in the Peel tonight. They will also look in depth at the meeting from Cannington tomorrow night. The boys will also be joined by Ryan Levitsky, who will provide his best over the 2 nights of chasing. Let the chase begin.
Good morning and welcome to Chasing Winners here on this Friday morning. No Peter O'Neill, he's on leave, but we can welcome back the great man David Shortte. Good afternoon, or good morning, Shorty. How was the holiday?
It was excellent, thank you, Jesse. Good morning to yourself. Everybody up nice and early with us on this Friday for Chasing Winners. Great to be with you. Looking forward to a couple of very busy programs here locally, both at Mandurah, of course, and it all kicks off tonight down there for an 11-race card and heats of the shorts, Jesse. A really interesting series year in, year out. We see a couple of the dogs that have raced over the longer trip stepping back, but some of our absolute roll gold short courses on display tonight there at Mandurah over the 400 metres. Races 5, 6 and 7, first 3 legs of the quad are going to be a real highlight of the program.
Absolutely, showcasing our best WA-bred sprinters. We also have the distance potential, which has run over the 652. It is an interesting affair because we get to see some of these greyhounds who've got good city class form over that 488-metre trip, step up to the 652, and it's a fair bit of a hard run, the 652, compared to the old 647, which in itself was a massive effort to get. So it's going to be interesting to see how some of these greyhounds go. Shorty, should we get into the first race on Friday night?
Let's do it, Jesse. Race number 1 on the program this evening there at Mandurah, and it gets underway 6:50 tonight. It's a grade 6 free entry Tab Touch Park over the 300 metres. Tab Touch Market is up here on the first. Miss Magnificent for Rick Valenti is the $3.20 favourite. Red Ned Gundy at $4. Buddy's Mate $4.80. Common View $5. Fennec Fox a $6 chance. Talk us through your thoughts for the opener.
I'll go 1, 5, 4 and 2. Willing to give Fennec Fox another chance. Came from box number 1 last week. Missed the start. Around on merits behind Kiss Me Gypsy. Was only beaten a length and a half from an inside draw here, where she does run a few placings. I thought in an open affair she could run a cheeky race. From number 5, Miss Magnificent was a good winner. 5 back in novice class company. Has found graded company tougher, but comes back to a grade 6 for third. Number 4, West on Libby. Racing consistently over the 400 and the 380 at Cannington. Drops down to the 300. I think should improve as well. And for fourth, I will throw in 2, Red Ned Gundy. 1, 5, 4, 2, race 1.
I found this an absolute raffle to kick off the program, to be honest with you punters. For the sake of tips only, I won't be betting into the race personally. Number 1 on top, Fennec Fox, from this draw last time out, finished 5th, didn't get all that much luck early, and in the end was only beaten a length and a quarter. A similar run here would see it in the mix. It's only won 3 of 43 though, so winning hit rate's not hot. Accordingly, you want to be going each way. That said, this is not strong, so 1 on an each way basis on top. From number 2, Red Ned Gundy, a chaser that is certainly capable on its nights. Won 3 of the 22, unplaced its last 5, but that's the recurring theme in this race. There's not a lot of form to work with. 5, Miss Magnificent, certainly if running to its PB of 17.22 would see it very, very hard to beat here. And I'll round it out with greyhound number 6, Buddy's Mate. Another dog anywhere near that PB of 17.07 would see it hard to hold out, but that was a little while ago now. So a tricky way to kick off the night. 1, 2, 5, 6.
Race number 2, the 50 years of racing, Judith Harp. It's a novice over the 400 metres. West on Tilly's come up the $1.90 favourite. Kenya Gulfstream $3.40. Security Guard in box 8 at $4.60. First up for Kelly Buckwell. We've got $6 Luxio Wave also for Kelly. Do we give Kenya Gulfstream another chance here, Shorty? It has great personal best, but the winning strike rate is pretty appalling. 21 starts, 1 win. Or do we take the $1.90 about West on Tilly?
Yeah, I don't love the price, West on Tilly, but I think it's the logical selection here. That win 3 back, defeating Raclette Manelli in 22.56 is a really nice form reference for a race like this. Came from the middle draw last time out, was chopped out and then finished off nice 22.8. A greyhound with a fair bit of upside. This looks very suitable for West on Tilly. A safe getaway. It should be your winner here in the second. Number 2, Luxio Wave, I'm respecting in this race. race at a nice each-way price for Kelly Buckwell. Racing really consistently. He was a winner 5 back of a novice in 22.61 and has been placed at all 4 runs since. So the dog's going well. It certainly is worthy of some sort of recognition there if you like an each-way play around that $6 mark. Then number 7, Kenya Gulfstream. There's no doubt there's a motor there, but it's a dog that from time to time has let the punters down. There's a lot of silver and bronze there, and we'll round it out with greyhound number 8, Security Guard. 1, 2, 7 and 8 for me, race number 2.
I'll go 1, 7, 8 and 4. 1 West on Tilly on top as well. Shorty has great early speed, averages 6.29 to the first peg from 5 career starts. I think should be pretty hard to beat. From 7, Kenya Gulfstream. He's going to get a nice cut into the race, and can he get West on Tilly over the concluding stages? For third, number 8, Security Guard was a good second last week behind Go Get 'em Herbie. And for fourth, I'll throw in 4, Sand Cruiser for Damien Credelli. 1, 7, 8 and 4, race number 2. To race number 3, Science Strategy, mixed 5-6 over the 300 metres. Another interesting affair here. Taming the Tiger, the $3 favourite. Greyhound who does like the trip. We've got 420 Moon Eclipse from box 7, 460 for Nitro's Ruby, and Making It Rain for Ben McLean in the white rug there. What are your thoughts here on the third?
Pretty keen here, Taming the Tiger. Jesse made it one of the better bets on the program. Dog I've got a lot of time for. Kirsty Moore's done an excellent job with this particular canine. Just really does appreciate this distance. 5 starts, track and trip, 3 wins and a second. Those numbers speak for themselves. Was 17.32 winner last time out. I think that sort of performance here in a mixed grade 5 and 6 coming out of that grade 6 company. It's only a half step up in grade. Was a winner over the longer trip of 400 metres, only a handful of starts ago. Doesn't always step straight to the top, but a greyhound over this distance will be really strong to the line. I thought if Taming the Tiger could just begin with them from there would take a fair bit of stopping. Those track and trip stats really do speak for themselves in a race like this. Kiss Me Gypsy coming off a win last time out in 17 and 45 is a nice performance on that occasion. I think number 7 Moon Eclipse must be respected here, and also including number 3 Making It Rain. It's can be a little enigmatic, but the dog's certainly capable of running on its night. It doesn't end there. There's a few other chances to hit the frame here, but for me, I'm sticking with Taming the Tiger, just hoping for a safe getaway. If it does get that, I think it can make it 4 out of 6 over the track and trip.
I think it's a good quote, $3 there for a greyhound with such a great record over the trip. Last start winner in 17.32. Did it from a wide draw. Has a vacant box on her outside. I thought is also a good bet there for Kirsty Moore. For second, at number 1, Kiss Me Gypsy. A greyhound who doesn't have a terrible record from box number 1. 2 starts, 2 minors. For third, I will go with number 3, Making It Rain, who's stepping out of novice class company. And for fourth, I will throw in 8, Mary Samsonite off the wide draw where it doesn't mind racing 4, 1, 3 and 8 in race number 3. Race 4, the 50 years of racing, Kenneth Kidd, a novice over the 488 metres. And we've got here on the betting, $2 favourite in West on Madge from box number 8 for Chris Hulse. 420 for Kenya Willow, who's been racing well in City Class Company, and Starbury was first up over the trip last week at $5. What are your thoughts here, Shorty?
Yeah, good race. Looking forward to this particular event tonight. I don't love the price, but I think West on Madge gets a good look here. Last time it had box number 8, was a winner in 27 and 48. Now, if it could reproduce that on the clock here, it does loom as the winner of this race. It led all the way on that occasion. Since then, it's been a little hit and miss at box rise. Perhaps, though, just this draw, the other, I guess, indicators that West on Madge is well placed is its other really nice performance was from box number 6. Pardon me, that was a quality I was talking about there with 27.48, but the maiden win was 27.59 from box 6. Has been placed as well from box 7 in 27.55. So from its body of work that we've seen in just a sort of very limited career to this point, boxes 6, 7 and 8 are where we've seen the best from West on Madge, and draws there tonight. It must be said it's not a steaming hot lineup, and accordingly it looms as the greyhound to beat. So 8 on top. From number 7, Whole Shot for Justin Wood, a greyhound that's pretty capable on its night, certainly has been consistent in hitting the frame. Only won 1 from 19, but has run a further 8 placings and has placed all 3 starts in its career from box number 7, so worthy of inclusion in that particular slot. Number 4, Kenya Willow, is a dog that is It's run around that 27.7 range. Last couple of starts hasn't begun all that well and has found a little bit of trouble, but you go back 5 and 6 runs ago over the shorter trip and the dog was beginning quite well and running placing, so it's certainly worthy of inclusion. And I'll round it out with number 1 there, Star Bree. 8, 7, 4 and 1, race number 4.
I'll go 8, 4, 1, 3, 8 West on Madge on top. Like you said, Shorty, the wide form is fantastic. I like those greyhounds when they drop out of city class novices into provincial class affair tonight. Massive step down in class. For second, 4 Kenya Willow, same form lines as West on Madge, dropping out of city class company back to provincial class novices and was holding her form very well in these sort of races earlier in the month. For third, number 1 Star Bree, and for fourth, I'll throw in 3 Go Seek Isla. 8, 4, 1, 3, race number 4. To race 5, it kicks off the quaddie, and it's the first heat of the shorts here. And our favourite, Sunset Hornet, $1.45. I thought there's some good quotes for some other greyhounds. Sunset Nightjar is an electric beginner. He's at $11. Our Benson, Proven and Free For All Company at $6.50. And then 11 for Sunset Pepe and Bungee Man. There's value if you want to steer around the favourite here, Shorty.
There is. Well, you're 100% right, Jesse. It's hard to punch holes in the form of Sunset Hornet. It has won its last 5 in a line, and a lot of the times have been really impressive. 22, 06, 16 and 18 at its last 3. Prior to that was over the longer trip and leading throughout to defeat West on Booney in both of those races in 27, 33, 21. So the dog's just airborne at the moment. It snuck up on me a little bit, Sunset Hornet. Always thought it was going to be a nice sort of short course dog, but it stepped up to longer distances and performed really well. It's now won 17 of 29 with a further 7 placings, and track and trip 9 starts, 7 wins. So certainly does have the stats to back up why the dog is short. Do I want to take the $1.45 that's on offer now? No. Do I think it's hardest to beat? Yes. So it's one of those races that I think the market's probably slightly trimmer than I would have the dog. I think it's the logical winner. Am I tempted to have something on a couple of other dogs to potentially step and beat it? Yes. I've had 2 small bets on Sunset Nightjar at 11 and Bungee Man at 11. I just think they're Bungee Man especially, I've been really impressed with over this distance. Wouldn't have thought necessarily that this trip would be ideal for the dog, but 3 starts, track and trip. It's run 22, 31, 46 and 33. They're a couple of lengths behind what Sunset Hornet has been running, but there is early pace, as you alluded to, in this race. The likes of Sunset Nightjar and our Benson, Spooky Hook, they can all step on their night. If they happen to crowd Sunset Hornet and put pressure on, it could set it up for a dog like Bungee Man to be strong to the line and over the top. That's why I've had something on it at the bigger odds. And Sunset Nightjar is a dog that on its night it's capable of really humming, and it was a winner in 22.18 recently. So that sort of run here could give Hornet a run for its money. Dog to beat, Sunset Hornet. I'm not dissing it. I'm just respecting the fact this is a deep race and there's some early pace to potentially make it work early. It is the on topper though and hard to beat. 1 from 8 for Sunset Nightjar, as I've touched on, is a dog that certainly is in the mix in a race like this. And 5 our Benson next best, 1845.
I'll go 4158. I just look at the $11 for Sunset Nightjar and my eyes light up. I just think it's such a great price for a greyhound who's so reliable early. Albeit Cannington over the 520 hasn't really brought that box manners to Mandurah. It only averages 6.36 to the first peg, and when he did win from box 4 in 22.18, he was only third at the first turn. He's due to jump one of these days at Mandurah, and when he does, I think he's going to absolutely spear out, and I think he's more than capable of breaking the 22-second barrier. For second, number 1, Sunset Hornet, you can't knock you can't knock the form at 5 of his last 6 she's won. For third, number 5, Al Benson, another greyhound proven in Free For All Company. And for fourth, number 8, Bungee Man. Like you said, Shorty, just flies under the radar. Was a good winner in a Free For All last week. 4-1-5-8, race number 5. To race 6, it's the second heat of the shorts. Just looking at the scratchings. In fact, there is no scratchings on the card at all. There was no reserves and there are no scratchings during the meeting tonight at Mandurah. Race number 6, here is the market. We've got $3.70 equal favourites, Sunset Mirage and All Over Carja. Sunset Tyson, $4. Lip Tricks, $5.50. Fancy That Fred at 7. Pat Up Declan, $9.50. Double figure odds, Startup Ando and Spider Venom. All Over Carja was really good last week when taking out one of the Holiday Coast Series final. We've got Sunset Mirage here. He's got a good record over the trip. 5 starts for a win and 2 minors. It's a good little race, Shorty. What are your thoughts?
It's very challenging. There's a lot of dogs here that are capable at their best of winning a race of this nature. I'm going to go with the informed type, though, with number 6, All Over Karja. Last 4 runs have all been excellent. Tremendous record, track and trip here. All Over Karja has been just consistently fronting up and getting the job done week in, week out for Lewis Clay. And look, in a race where you can make a case for a few, I'm going to go with number 6 on top. The key will be for All Over Karja to just nail that start, which it does more often than not. 5 starts from the draw, 3 wins, 2 placings, and overall track and trip 18 for 8 wins and 7 placings, most of them in top grade. So All Over Karja, it's been here and done it consistently for a significant period of time. It's the one to beat. From number 1, Lip Tricks, from the inside draw here, Lip Tricks is very, very capable. I note there's been a little bit of support for the dog there as well. From box 1, 2 tries for a win and a placing. Placed its last couple behind Wise Barra and also Rare Speed. Certainly respecting Lip Tricks here. Sunset Tyson's a dog that can really run on its night. It's got a massive engine, but getting the start right can be the key to the dog, and it doesn't always get it right at the start. That's why you're getting a price about it. If this was sort of max racing, Sunset Tyson would be the sort of dog that you'd probably be leaning towards as you're on top of, because we know it can run quick times, but it doesn't always get the start right. So that's the risk you take if you team up with a Sunset Tyson. And number 3, Sunset Mirage, is another really talented dog. Certainly on its night, it can run. It's been placed as one of its last 5, but they've all been in top grade races against good quality opposition, and no surprise to see it improve sharply here. 6, 1, 4 and 3 for me, race 6.
I'll go 4, 3, 6 and 2 for Sunset Tyson on top. Like you said, Shorty, you close your eyes at box rides sometimes. It was a good win, the 3 back though from a wide draw. It was in a full field conditions in a mixed 3-4. This is a little bit harder being an open class heat, but he has the form on the board. 4 starts for a win and a minor over the trip. 22-26 is his personal best. He's got a lot of ability. He's just he's got to hope that he lands on the arm here, especially with a lot of speedsters, but he is the strongest dog in the field. For second, number 3, Sunset Mirage, held his own last week when leading a free-for-all, a talented free-for-all last week when defeated by Hinter by 5 lengths. He led them for pretty much 400 metres of it. For third, number 6 in All Over Karja. Just not sure how he's going to cross some of these greyhounds in his inside. He's not overly strong over this trip. And for fourth, I'll throw in at number 2. Fancy That Fred, the young fellow who's going along nicely, was a good third behind Rare Speed last week from an inside draw, but might find Grady Company, or this open class company, a bit tougher. 4, 3, 6, 2, race number 6. That brings us to race number 7. It's the final chance to qualify for the Shorts final. Wise Barra, the $4 favourite. Geez, we've had some open markets here. Crumble Manelli at $4.20. What a ripper. $5. West on Marley, $5.50. Speed Galore in this race. Can we get back on winning race with Crumble Manelli here, Shorty?
Maybe. If Crumble Manelli brings its best here, it's going to take some stopping. I just need to see it myself personally before I could get involved from a punting perspective with that dog. We know how talented Crumble Manelli is at its best. It's up to our very best to win a 29 of 60 and more than 660,000 in prize money. You'd love to own a share in Crumble Manelli, but for me, I'm sticking with Wise Barra and making it one of the bets of the night here. Wise Barra's been stepping beautifully over the longer distances of late and steps back here to 400 metres for the first time. I've always thought that this would be an ideal trip for Wise Barra, to be honest. It runs very good early splits, has been finding the top, as I've said, for fun. It's led at its last, 7 of its last 9 it's led Wise Barra. Now, I know that back to 400 there's more speedsters and more dogs capable of running a split, but I think with What a Ripper drawn on its inside, likely to step, that should give Wise Barra a little bit of cover from the inside division. And then I think from the outside brigade, as long as it can hold them and push up hard, I think that Wise Barra can find itself in a top 2 or 3 spot in running. And for a dog that runs 488 metres, if it lands there by rights, it should be really strong to the line and hard to hold out over the last 150 metres of this race. So I'm going to stick with Wise Barra. First up on the trip, I guess, is some query, but I really like the dog, and I think just with a safe getaway, it can take a fair bit of stopping here, Wise Barra. So making it one of my bets of the night, and I'll have it on top. From number 4, What a Ripper, greyhound that has run some really quick times, has been a tremendous greyhound over the shorter trip for Enzo Credelli, winning 11 of 25. Those numbers speak for themselves. 3, Crumble Manelli. If Crumble returns to its best, then it probably wins a race like this. But like I said, I just need to see it first before I get involved. And I'll round it out with 7, Sunset Callisto, capable of better than what we've seen of late. Tonight might be that night. 5, 4, 3, 7, Keen, Wisebarrow.
I'll go 5, 4, 2, 1. Following in here with Wisebarrow, like you said, her last 5 starts she's led over the 488. She's running some good sectionals. Broke 16 off the back last week behind Miss Envy in that West Chase final. Form line's really strong here. She is a bit of a wide runner. There's not too much speed on her outside. So I'm with Wisebarrow on top as well. From 4, What a Ripper, greyhound who was racing really well. Took out a heat of the final a couple of weeks back in 22.36 when defeating Cromwell Manelli. For third, number 2, West on Marley. She's always thereabouts in City Class Company. Dropping back in trip, I don't think it's going to hurt her chances. And for fourth, number 1 in Terra County. She's just a pure Cannington bully over the 380. She's a genuine 21.6 dog. She's only had the one start over the 400 metres, but she should improve on that 22.84 run, especially with the red box. 5, 4, 2, 1 in race number 7. To race 8, the final leg of the quaddie. It's over the 488, and it's the 50 years of racing. Leslie Dean, All About Rock, the 280 favourite. Must Be Speedy, $4. Dark Lightning at $4.40. Go see Ariana 7. What are your thoughts here, Shorty?
Yeah, tricky race. Race number 8 on the program. I'm going to stick with All About Rock. Just on the clock, that 27 and 58 last time out was one of the better times any of these dogs have run over this trip for a little bit. So happy enough to be with it and be right there giving plenty of cheek. All About Rock. I think number 2 in Oliver Gundy has to be respected. Interesting runner here at from box number 7, Dark Lightning has to be included. I thought also that greyhound number 5, Mongolian Tiger, at a big price, could be one to throw in for the punters here. It's around that $8 mark. Its effort last time out was good when it led for a fair portion of the trip. Just run down late by mortality. 27.50 was good. Probably better known over longer distances, Mongolian Tiger, and only a moderate winning strike rate, just the 3 wins from 83. But there's 22 placings there. It might be the sort of dog that hits a frame and helps to jack up some trifectas and first fours. I don't think it ends there. It's a pretty challenging affair. There's not a lot of time on the board in recent starts from most of these dogs around that 27.5 to 27.8 range, and a little bit of luck could go a fair way to determining the winner here in race 8. 6-2-7-5.
6-1-3-5-6. All About Rock on top. Good second last week behind Tier Tremor when jumping second and running that throughout. Before then, form lines was good over the trip. A good winner in 27.37 from this draw. 11 starts for 4 wins and 3 minors. Got a quick personal best of 22.15. That was set in April, so some 3 months ago. For second, number 1 in Crooked Kelly. I thought she could lob close on the arm. He was a good novice winner in 27.81. Didn't have much luck from a middle draw last week. Comes at a box number 1. For third, number 3, Must Be Speedy, was a good winner 2 back in 27.69. And for fourth, after on 5, Mongolian Tiger. We talk about how this greyhound usually runs over the longer trips. It was a bit of a shock to see him get run down, but it was by a talented dog by mortality there for Paul Stewart last week in good time, 27.41. But 6-1, 3 and 5 for me in race number 8. To race number 9. And it's a free-for-all over the 400 metres for these chasers who aren't eligible for the short heats. Jimmy's Jet coming up at $2. All over Carly, $4. Rare Speed, $4.20. Brain Teaser, $4.80. Solid Tank at 10 for Loose Bail at $26. I thought Brain Teaser was a good quote there at $4.80. Probably going to be the early leader here, Shorty.
Yeah, absolutely. Placed all 4 runs from box number 1 as well. Brain Teaser, it's got that good early pace. And yeah, it's a pretty nice price around that 480 mark. It's a very, very talented lineup here. There's some smart speedsters that have been running well. Jimmy's Jet, really like the dog. He's put together an excellent record in his career to date. Whether or not I want to take the even money from box number 5 tonight's in this sort of grade of race is probably a bit of a query. Just going to lean its way on its best. Now, whether it can show that tonight, I'm not sure. It's not a race I'm betting into personally, but it's going to be a very competitive affair. I'm including number 2, All Over Carly, who has just been a great short course campaigner throughout. Number 1, Brain Teaser, as you touched on, likely to be right up there on top of the speed, and in that capacity, could really give some cheek. Was a good winner going back only a couple of starts ago, defeating All Over Karja. And number 4, Rare Speed, is in good form. Its last 3 runs have all been strong. 29.8 when placed at Northam, 17.06 here over the shorter trip, and then a winner last time out in 22.39, defeating Liptrix, who we've talked about as a good chance in one of those heats earlier on tonight of the short. So good race, 5, 2, 1 and 4, very intriguing.
I'll go 1, 5, 2, 4, 1 Brain Teaser on top from the draw. Great record yet to win, though, from box 1 from 4 starts, but I think should land on the arm. Be pretty hard to beat. From 5, Jimmy's Jet. Not sure where he's going to land here. There's plenty of speed in this race, and his last couple, he's run into a bit of bother. He needs to work on his track sense a bit, and he's going to struggle in open class company until he gets that down pat. For 3rd, number 2, All Over Carly, and for 4th, I will throw in 4, Rare Speed. 1, 5, 2, 4, race number 9. To race number 10, the penultimate on the card, 50 years of racing, Lorraine Bustle, a grade 5 over the 400 metres. Don't Tell Dasher 370, West on Smoky 260, Hugo Gundy 5, Kentish Slash stepping up in trip 550, All Grunt 950 for Kelly Buckwell. What are your thoughts here, Shorty?
Another good race. Teaming up with West on Smoky here. It's been testing the punters, placed at its last 3. All the runs have been good. They've been over longer for West on Smoky. Drops back to the 400 metres here where it's been pretty consistent. Just needs to sit somewhere near them here, and I would expect it to be really strong. There'll be a bit of pace in the race. Kentish Lass off the inside draw, not always brilliant out of the boxes, but can really muster through strong. But it's 0 for 3 over this distance, so 400 metres to this point has been a challenge for the dog. We also see greyhounds like All Grunt, who was a speedy beginner going back 2 and 3 runs ago, winning in 22.63 and 65. They're both really nice performances, and also drawn a little wider on the track. Hugo Gundy and also Don't Tell Dasher, who can show a little bit as well. So interesting, but I'll go with number 2 on top, West on Smoky, and just hope the dog lands handy. That 22.16 PB, it's got a little bit on these if it does happen to step and run to that level. From number 7, Hugo Gundy, for Jeff Reed, racing in very consistent fashion. Number 1, Kentish Lass, is a dog that over 300 I've teamed up with on many occasions, and more often than not it's run really well, but just need to see it produce it here over the longer trip of 400. And I'll round it out with greyhound number 8, Don't Tell Dasher. Generally hits the frame, very reliable for roving banker style players. Its last 9 starts, Jesse, 8 placings and 1 4th. So if you like roving bankers, Don't Tell Dasher is the dog for you. It almost never misses. Certainly over the last 9 it hasn't anyway.
2, 7, 8 and 4 for me, Shorty, in race number 10. I'm with West on Smoky on top, willing to make him one of my better bets on the card. Placed his last 2 over the 488 metres in good company. For 2nd, number 7, Hugo Gundy, greyhound who does like the Mandurah circuit, was a good winner in 22.57. For 3rd, 8, Don't Tell Dasher, like you said, Shorty, just an absolute roving banker play. 22 starts over the trip for 3 wins and 8 minors. And for 4th, I'll throw in 4, All Grunt. 2, 7, 8 and 4 in race number 10 to the final event on the card, the Prime Trophies. Mixed 4-5. Provincial class affair. And our favourite is Mortality, who was really good for Paul Stewart last week. Currently $1.75, Shorty.
Yeah, it's in my multis tonight, Jesse. I think Mortality likely to take a fair bit of stopping. Found all sorts of strife last time out. I thought the effort to win was very good. This is a greyhound that has put together a nice record over on the East Coast. We've seen the dog running some slick times in town, 29.43 there at Sandowns, moving along, and anytime you go sub 30 at the Meadows, you're moving very slick. 29 and 88 there at the Meadows off a wide draw shows us that Mortality is well above average, and the man that trains is in the same category. He just trains winners for fun, and he's got the team flying at the moment, Paul Stewart. So I think he'll send us home with a winner here. Mortality does look awfully hard to beat. I think it's the one that the punters will be cheering hard for in the last. Number 6, Shy Emoji, is a greyhound that you certainly must respect. Dave Hobby and this canine have put together some nice stats. So I think Shy Emoji is the logical danger. I'll also include number number 3, Dandalup Opal, a greyhound that Rick Valenti's got back racing with good confidence. It's always had above average ability. Obviously had a bit of time on the sidelines, but Rick's been patient with the dog, and as time's gone on, he's managed to get this greyhound back up and firing, and it's certainly worthy of inclusion. And I'll also throw in number 2 in Sneaky Pint, who was a solid effort when placed last time out. One of the better bets of the night for me, Mortality, 1632.
I'll go 168 and 3, number 1 Mortality on top after last week's effort. For second, 6 Shy Emoji should get back, run on sort of type. For third, 8 Western Odie Graham with a great record from box 8. Has had 8 starts for 4 wins, 2 minors. And for fourth, number 3 Dandelion People was a good run behind Mortality last week. 168 and 3. And race 11, before we get your thoughts for the quaddie, we can join Ryan Levitsky, who is waiting patiently on the line there. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning, Jesse. Good morning, Shorty.
Thoughts on tonight's meeting there at Mandurah?
I like 3 dogs all wearing red, Jesse. Race 1, number 1, Fennec Fox. Will not find an easier race or grade or box. It's $5. I think it's a fantastic bet. Number 3, Kyle Ray, often jumps, musters and runs off, which will help 1 and 2, obviously. So I think $5 is great value, race 1, number 1. I also like race 10, number 1, Kentish Lass, and race 11, number 1, Mortality, as you guys outlined. The field's good, but this dog's really good, and it's got the red and Paul Stewart, so I'm happy to take odds on Mortality in the last. So races 1, 10 and 11, number 1.
Did something similar last week, didn't we, with box 1 specials at Mandurah?
I think I've actually been on fire on Friday nights, but the opposite on Saturday nights lately, Jesse. So, back those in and maybe take the next set of tips with a grain of salt.
What about on Saturday? Is there anything that stands out?
I like race 5, number 3, Max Capacity. Needs a little bit of luck. Could be a stayer in the making, this dog. Currently $6 fixed odds with Tab Touch. Race 7, number 8, Window Shopper. Sort of picks itself. It's $1.95. Just has to get across from box 8. And the other one's an interesting one. I think you'll both agree. Race 9, number 5, Sozins Azuri. It's going to be good odds because its form isn't flash. But 300 metres is the key here. And this greyhound's capable of mustering very, very quickly. So race 9, number 5, hopefully at value. There are no odds out yet. Sozins Azuri. And I've got a quaddie, 36 combos, 1, 2, 3, 7 into 2, 7, 8. Into number 8, Standout Window Shopper, and in the final leg, numbers 1, 7 and 8.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Sozins Azuri. Actually, you've been a big fan for a very long time. Sozins Azuri is just a massive pinging dog, Shorty.
Yeah, I think the trip does look ideal, as Ryan's alluded to, and I think wouldn't be at all surprised to see it run a really cheeky race there in race number 9 on a Saturday night. Ryan, anything for the remainder, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, anything of that note?
Yeah, there was an eye-catcher, Pop's Pocket, Rod Noden. It's drawn box 1 in race 2 on Sunday. Very, very hard to hold out. Race 2, number 1, Pop's Pocket. And I also think the Gold Coast are going to do a job on the Giants and hopefully win their next few and charge up the ladder.
How are we looking for that top 8 bet, Ryan?
Oh, bullish. Very confident.
Still confident?
We'll be fine after the weekend.
Because they're yet to win a game on the road. And taking on the Giants, it's a big, big game. It's a big, big call. It
is. I think the boys will turn into men this week. Just remember, boys, you've got to remember what you're good at, and they're very good at home. They haven't lost at home. So, they're 2 games off second on the ladder, and their percentage is 106. All they have to do is win this week, and it's game on.
All right, so you're banking them to bring up their first win on the road this weekend, and just quickly check that for the punters if you're looking to step into them. This weekend, taking on GWS, they are currently a $2.85 chance there, so nice odds, as we are always expecting when we speak to this man, Ryan Levitsky. And what about your Bulldogs taking on the Cats? That's going to be some game. They were absolutely superb. I was watching it with my young fellow who's a crazy Dogs fan there last weekend over in Bali, and he was screaming the joint down. They were very good against the Blues.
Did he watch the week before?
He did, yes.
Jekyll and Hyde. Honestly, they have never been this inconsistent, and the same can be said for Freo. But then again, the whole competition's a bit like it, except for Sydney.
Yeah, spot on. It's what an amazing season. It's been just so intriguing week to week to see who can turn up and get the job done. And just when you think you've got a side sorted out, they get pegged by a decent margin and you're back on your heels. It's been that sort of season, but long may it continue. It's made for excellent football, and let's stop talking about what's going on with people being rubbed out and the like, and focus on a bit of quality football this weekend. Ryan Levitsky, you've always been an absolute star for us here on TAB Radio. Thanks for joining us this morning here on Chasing Winners, and good luck with the Suns.
Thank you very much. See you guys.
Good calling tonight. Ryan Levitsky there joining us here on TAB Radio Racing and Sports. Shorty, what are your quaddie and plays for tonight at Mandurah?
3 best bets, Jesse. Race 3, number 4, Taming the Tiger. Race 7, number 5, Wise Barrow. Race 11, number 1, Mortality. And my quaddie suggestion for tonight, pretty tricky. First leg going with numbers 1, 4 and 8. Second leg, numbers 1, 3, 4 and 6. Third leg, numbers 3, 4, 5 and 7. And then in the final leg, numbers 1, 2, 5, 6 and 7. Good luck if you're playing along with the quaddie tonight there at Mandurah.
Thanks, Shorty. I like race 3, number 4, Taming the Tiger. Race 4, number 8, West on Madge. And race 10, number 2, West on Smoky for the quaddie. We have to go pretty open in those middle legs, those shorts heats, as shown by the market, are just so wide open. The first leg will go 1 and 4. The second leg, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6. And the third leg, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And rounded out with 1 and 8 there on Friday night. We turn our attention to the Saturday night card there at Tab Touch Park, Mandurah, with the closure of Cannington. We're running 5 days a week, and obviously we drop off the Sunday meeting in a couple of weeks' time. But the first races are maiden over the 488. No market up, but it is an interesting affair. There will be a scratching here of a New Hope who won a maiden recently over the week. What are your thoughts here? It is a interesting maiden because we've got some greyhounds who are stepping up over the 400 and some whose form isn't overly flash, but you'd expect Better Call to be the favourite here, Shorty?
Absolutely, yeah. You'd expect it to be off that performance last time out in the mix there. Around that 27.57 is certainly the sort of performance you'd expect to be right there in the mix. Just quickly before we get into this program, you just mentioned on how much racing Mandurah is currently having there, and Cannington 2 months into the redevelopments. You get to the track a lot more than what I do and call races and the like. How is the track actually handling all this racing?
Very well. There's no noticeable dip in the quality of the tracks that's prepared, and I think that's the main key. We've got a new groundsman there as well with the head one resigning. So Steve Vanderklaus now taking over the control of Mandurah as well as his greyhound team. He's doing a wonderful job, and I'm sure that's no doubt going to continue. And losing the Sunday meetings at Mandurah, I think, certainly going to help as well. But the track is coping really well. I was there yesterday trialling dogs, and it was no noticeable dip in quality, even considering the amount of rain that we had overnight there, Shorty.
Good to hear. Well, long may it continue. It's going to have to for at least another sort of couple of months. And I personally think so far it's been good, and Northam's stacking up okay as well. That program there last night was excellent, and some
Actually, it's good to see some of those city races there, aren't they? Fantastic, like that free for all. Even though it's a provincial class, got a really quality lineup, and it's going to be interesting with the Nationals coming up there shortly as well.
It's just a different look and feel, and I think we've adapted. It took a little while early on, to be honest, to get the head around all the different form lines going into Northam and Mandurah, but I think it's settled down pretty well now, and punters seem to have got their heads around it and are working a lot of the races out well. Let's rip into Saturday night. It's not an easy maiden to kick off. I am going to team up with number 6, Better Call. Was there in the market last time out, began moderately, copped a few checks. It's been a bit of a recurring theme for this dog. It's been placed of 6 of 7 now, so the paw is certainly on the till, and this looks to be a very, very suitable assignment. No surprise to see a Better Call with a safe getaway be pretty hard to beat here. New Hope obviously comes out having won that race now, so I'll opt for second pick now, number 4, Global Tracker. Enormous respect for Paul Kaltzes. He's been a great trainer for a really long period of time now. This greyhound's been runner-up 4 of 7. All of the recent work's been over 400, but the dog did go around over the 520 metres at Cannington going back to May. So obviously that being the case, no problems with a little bit longer in a race like this. Number 3, Firefly Lane, member of a very good litter. Gee, there's been some nice ones, and it must have been a hell of a size litter because they just seem to keep rolling out, and the Robertsons are on fire of late, so I think it's certainly worthy of inclusion. And number 7, Heather's Pick for Mickey Rylands. 8 quorum ups, not out. It's a very open way to kick off the program. 6, 4, 3 and 7.
I'll go 6, 4, 7 and 3. 6 Better Call on top after his recent effort. He's knocking on the door, should win shortly. From number 4 in Global Tracker, like the form over the 400 metres of late. For third, number 7, Heather's Pick, always thereabouts. And for fourth, I'll throw in 3, 5, Fly Lane, like you said. Shorty flying under the radar from a quality litter there, so expecting some improvement from her. 6, 4, 7 and 3 in race number 1. To race number 2, and we have a market here. Sage Daniil, the $1.80 favourite, track record holder, returning from a trip to Brisbane. Sunset Comanche $2.20, Sky Manelli at $9. That's a good quote for a very talented bitch in her own right. Sky Manelli, Penny Magic at 10, Ace and Cooner at 13. Thoughts here on the second?
Yeah, good race, isn't it? And Sage Daniil, look, it was far from disgraced, I thought, up there in Queensland. Took on some excellent lineups and was right there to the last little bit of both races, finishing runner-up behind Flying Queenslander Valpolicella, and then beaten only 2 1/4 behind Exploded. Really good form for a race like this, and came from this draw only 3 runs ago when breaking the track record. She seems to have her confidence back, and a credit to Cody. She's clearly, a national champion. You don't give away those sort of titles to dogs. She's earned it, and her best is really good, but he's had to pull all sorts of levers to try and get her confidence back, and personally just stoked to see her back racing somewhere near her top, and it's a credit to Cody and Brittany. They put a lot of work into Sage Daniil getting her confidence back, and to see her firing now again is wonderful. I hope it can continue on. I think it will here. Only has to reproduce that run from 3 back to take all of the beating. Look, if she's not quite right, Sunset Comanche's right there, ready to pounce. Greyhound that I think's got a massive future in the staying ranks. Tipped it first up over the longer distance, and every start since has just absolutely vindicated the thoughts along the way that it was always going to be a nice stayer. I think there's plenty of races up the sleeve of Sunset Comanche over these longer trips heading forward. Number 4 in Sky Manelli, as you touched on, really smart type in its own right. And number 2, Penny Magic. It's a bit rude leaving out Ace and Cooner, given how well it's been going for the Chili Man, but there's only room for 4. Great race, 6, 1, 4, 2.
I'll go 6, 1, 4, 8, 6 Sage Daniil on top. That was a massive effort in the final behind Exploded. Got into a bit of trouble on the home corner, but gee, she just kept kicking. It was a really gutsy effort. For second, number 1, Sunset Comanche. He's done his trade really well over this trip. For third, number 4, Sky Manelli, and for fourth, number 8, Ace and Cooner. 6, 1, 4 and 8, race 2. To race 3, it's a novice over the 488. It's a pretty open affair here. Swan Attitude, 330 for Adam Smithson from the Black Rug there. Black Nest, 350 west on, Go Get 'em Nelly, I should say, at 460. Thought it's a good quote there for Black Nest off an inside draw at 350 there, Shorty.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Liked its maiden win. Another member of this same litter that we were just touching on, the Zach Manelli Recall Kelsos. And yeah, I think having that victory under its belt, it's never easy to go from maiden company into graded company and win, but from the inside draw here, if it can reproduce that early split, should punch up into a nice position, and from there I think it's likely to take a bit of beating. So happy enough to have number 1 Black Ness on top. From greyhound number 7 Swan Attitude, it steps from the 400 up to 488, but Ad Smithson knows his dogs very well. For him to step the dog up here, it must be ready to roll. Was pretty impressive, 22.5 overall, slick early. If it gets across, it take a bit of running down, I would have thought. Outside of that duo, I think that greyhound number 8, Gino Bravinsky, is certainly capable of improvement, and I'll round it out with number 4, Go Get 'em Nelly. 1, 7, 8 and 4. 2's worthy inclusion as well. If you're taking trifectas and first 4 zinc, you'd expect it to be strong to the line, and in a race where a couple of dogs are around that 400 range having a stretch out in distance, it's one dog will be pelting home late. So 1, 7, 8 and 4.
I'll go 1, 7, 4, 2, 1 Blackness on top. Comes to the box number 1 off a really good win in a maiden. Just needs to repeat that box manners, and she should be really hard to beat. From number 7, Swan Attitude, was good in the maiden, showed good early speed. I'm not sure if he's strong enough to run out the trip first time around. For third, number 4, Go Get 'em Nelly, who has shown a bit of pace in her last couple. And for fourth, number 2, Zinc, 1742, race number 3. To race number 4, 50 years of racing, Michael Mullard, a 488-metre novice, and Guda Manelli, the $1.80 favourite. Rip and Moses, 420, Premium Star, $5. Do we steer clear of the $1.80 favourite here, Shorty, or we can trust here off the inside draw?
Yeah, look, it's probably short enough, isn't it? The last start performance, though, was eye-catching behind Chef's Kiss to go down a narrow margin after sitting midfield and cop a check early doors from the squeeze. It moves from there to box 1. You'd think it's suitable and probably the dog to beat, but I was expecting a bit better price, to be honest. There are 2 absolute chances to knock it off in 6 Rip and Moses and 4 Premium Star. They're both capable on their nights. Certainly Premium Star's a dog that's run some very good races early on in its career. I thought the effort when runner-up behind Iconic Jet early on in its life, running 27 and 55, was very good. Was a winner in 27 and 52. They're both really nice runs. And Rip and Moses, as I touched on, coming off a win last week in 27.46. Granted, that was from box number 1, but we have seen this dog run pretty consistently of late. I thought they were the big 3 in this race. While I don't love the price, I'll have 1 Guda Manelli from 6 Rip and Moses, 4 Premium Star. Outside of those greyhounds, I'll include number 3, Beauty in Me, 1, 6, 4 and 3.
I'll go 1, 4, 6, 7. Like you said, Short, I don't think you'd want to take much shorter than the $1.80 on offer for Guda Manelli, but he's been racing well. From wider draws, comes in a box number 1. I think should be pretty hard to beat off last week's effort. For second, number 4, Premium Star. For third, and number 6 in Rip and Moses. And for fourth, I'll throw in 7, Go Get Him Greta, who could improve. First up for new trainer Steve Vanderkloost. 1, 4, 6 and 7, race number 4. To race number 5, another novice over the 488 metres. For Fuller Fitness and Racing Barbie, the 220 favourite, Weston Kaiser, 420 max capacity, her Ryan liked there at $6. What are your thoughts here in the 5th?
Yeah, I tend to agree with Ryan here. I think it's a good opportunity for max capacity to go on with the job. I think 7 Racing Barbie's a dog that is very, very reliable and consistent, who guessed, member of that same litter for the Robertsons. Gee, they're in for a big couple of years following these dogs week in, week out. And another that just fronts up and earns 10 starts, 3 wins, 3 placings. Very, very capable type. Looks to have a bright future in store. I think that greyhound number 1, Weston Kaiser, is certainly worthy of respect. That effort when winning the maiden at Mandarin 27.60 was a good performance, and then behind Chef's Kiss last time out 27.68, another pretty nice performance. And I'll round it out with greyhound number 2, Love We Shared, 3, 7, 1 and 2.
I'll go 1, 7, 3 and 8. 1 Weston Kaiser on top from an inside draw. Was a good winner, 2 back from a wide draw. Steps in a box number 1. I thought could play a part in a good price at 420. For second, number 7 Racing Barbie. We talk about how good this litter is going, but let's not forget the first that produced, Hinto, who is an outstanding chaser in his own right. Sarikal Koso has certainly thrown on in the next litter. For second, number 7 Racing Barbie. For third, number 3 Max Capacity. And for fourth, I'll throw in 8 Go Seek Francine. 1, 7, 3 and 8 in race number 5. In race number 6, it's a distance potential heat. The first heat over the 652. Favourite, equal favourites. Mulfetta Cruise 270. Carter Axelrod 270. And that's Coco Shimmer at 380. Some good quotes here for some talented chasers who have done it over the trip in Coco Shimmer and Carter Axelrod. Mulfetta Cruise first up. Can you see him running out the 652, Shorty?
Oh, I can. Just on breeding, you'd think that certainly with being by Zach Manelli, hopefully that strength is there. And the dog generally runs the 488 out, no problems at all. So I can see the dog running really well here. Just probably want to see it first up, though, over the distance. I'm going to team up with a dog that owned the track record for a little bit there, Carter Axelrod. Look, it's been racing consistently without sort of starring at its last handful of starts, but there's 3 placings there, all in pretty good times, 27.44, 42, and then went to Northam in the free-for-all, beaten only 2.5 behind Barbecue Man. That reads up pretty nicely here. Carter Axelrod's got that very good early pace to put itself into the race. Should be able to zoom over, find a spot, and from there take all of the running down. From number 7, Coco Shimmer, who's a greyhound that's very well suited over this trip. Number 2, Mulfetta Cruise. really classy type, racing well. If it gets the distance, it's going to be right there in the finish. And I'll include number 4, Hippie Trail, for third and fourth there. It's generally hitting the right line at big odds and jacking up trifectas and first fours. May well do so once again here, 8-7-2-4.
I'll go 8-2-7-6. Number 8, Carter Axelrod on top, was a good second behind Barbecue Man. He wanted off the track on that occasion. Box out, I don't think will pose any problems for him. Good record over the trip. 4 starts, 2 wins, including a former track record. He's not overly strong over this trip, so he'd want to be off and gone. For second, 2, Mulfetta Cruz. I think the 652 will test, especially first up. For third, number 7, Coco Shimmer, was a good winner last week in 37.26. She's a bit of a surprise pack, and I never thought she'd be as impressive as she has been over the trip, but she's had 6 starts for 3 wins and 2 minors. And for fourth, number 6, Tim on Lane. He's probably got one of the most talented levels of ability, but he does pick and choose on the nights where he wants to use it. 8-2-7-6, race number 6. Race 7, it's the second heat of the distance potential. This one for Auto Owls and Bentley. For the Daily Boys there, 652-metre contest, and window shopper, the $1.90 favourite for Jamie Marsh here, Shorty.
Yes, and looks well placed with room to move out wide on the track here. Runner-up behind Sage Tennille last time out, reads up really nicely. Go back 3 runs ago, was a winner defeating Vander Harley, who it reopposes here in 37 and 34, and seems to be working it all out as it goes through now, winning 4 of 22, but has raced well here. Track and trip window shopper on top from number 2, Vander Harley, has really taken to the 652 here at Mandurah. 4 starts for 2 wins and 2 seconds. Hard to knock what it's been doing of late. It's got a good fitness base under its belt now with those 4 runs all over this trip, and all of them have been really solid, so you've got to respect it. One, All About Cole, had it drawn a little wider, it probably would have been my on topper, but we know that it can spend some petrol tickets trying to get to where it would like to be in the run, and that may be the case again here off the inside draw. And then I'll include number 6, Pepper Grinder, who can really smash the line late. 8-2-1-6.
I'll go 8-1-2-6-8, window shopper on top. If you want the most impressive run ever displayed over the 652, go back 3 runs ago when defeating Vander Harley by 3/4 of length. Gave it about 6 to 7 lengths off the back, was last in running and ran it down. That was an amazing effort by window shopper. Just on that run alone, I have to put him on top. For second, number 1 in All About Cole. Had he drawn a little bit wider, I don't think there would have been as big of a price discrepancy. For third, number 2, Vander Harley. And for fourth, I'll throw in 6, Pepper Grinder. 8-1-2-6 in race number 7. The final leg of the quaddie is a mixed 4-5 over the 488 metres for Neville Taylor, the 50 years of racing. And we have equal favourites in Common Speed and Pudding Manelli at 360, Tweak Freak 440, the reserve Kenya Mira at 460, not sure if he'll get a run yet. And then we have Dandle Up Blazer at 550. Pretty open race here, Shorty. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, good race, very good race. There's a couple of these dogs that are up in grade. Common Speed, the favourite. Off its last start performance is hard to beat here. 27-3 defeating Sneaky Pine. That's a hot run. Was a 22.50 winner off an inside draw over 400 4 starts ago. There's some pretty seasoned opposition, though, here for Common Speed. All of that said, from the draw, I'm leaning its way. Number 1 on top, Common Speed. I think that greyhound number 7, Tweak Freak, has to be respected enormously. A dog that's raced against some high-quality opposition on the way through, winning 2 of his last 3. And 27-24 was a really nice run going back 3 starts ago. 27-49 last time out. I think it's a massive danger in this race, and at the better price, it would maybe lean me its way from a bet perspective. Then I'm going to include 2, Pudding Manelli, who I just can't have for the win until I see it return to the winners list. But, gee, it's a fair old lock for the place. Just keeps hitting the frame. Another great roving banker-style play if that's how you like to bet, or throw it into your all-ups on the night if you're looking for a place leg. And the other dog that I want to include here at a big price that really misses sort of top 4 is out there in box 8, Elsa Baloney. It's around that $3.70 mark for a place, and it's been racing at Northam. It's back to Mandurah last time out behind, pretty hot when placed. Overall stats 62, 10 and 27. Hits the frame a lot at a price, and it might do so again here. For me, I will stick with 1 on top from 7, 2 and 8, and a little bit of respect for 4 Custard Manelli. In this grade, surely it bobs up and can run a hole, but the other 2 runners are there in the mix as well. It's almost a field job for me, race number 8 on the program, Jesse.
I'll go 4-2-1-7. Bit of confidence here with Custard Manelli. Greyhound is dropping out of free-for-all company back down to a City 5. I don't think it will take him too long to win one of these. From 2, Pudding Manelli. I don't think he's ever going to win another race off his recent forms. He just is always thereabouts without getting the job done. For 3rd, number 1, Common Speed was a good winner in quick time, but will step up in City Class company for the first time. It'd be interesting to see how she goes. And for 4th, I'll throw in 7, Tweak Freak, who could be an early speed influence. I'm not sure if she's got enough ability across some of the inside division. There is a fair bit of speed here. 4-2-1-7 in race number 8. To race 9, it's the 300-metre mixed 3-4 for Tommy Shelby at stud. No market up here, but we did say Sosna Zero thought would be maybe even a double-figure quote here. That was Ryan's play. I'm going with number 1, Cool Mara here, though, Shorty. Thought was a good winner, too, back in 17.05. Comes in a box number 1 where she's got a good record. She likes the trip. I think she'll be off and gone. From 5, Sosam Zuri. For 3rd, number 2 in Kingsbury Damon, who's run some nice races in open class company. He could be one over the odds as well. And for 4th, I will throw an 8, Edith Hook. 1-5-2-8, race 9.
Yeah, I'll go 1, 2, 8 and 5 here in race number 9 on the program. Cool Mara to back up that run from 2 starts ago, around that 17 flat mark. I'd see it pretty hard to beat. Number 2 in Kingsbury Demon, respecting Glen Curry, that win from an inside draw. 4 back was a good one. 8 in Edith Hook and 5 Sozan Zuzuri, 1-2-8-5.
Race 10, 50 years of racing, Peter Wilson. Grade 5 over the 400 metres. Kostecki, the $1.75 favourite off last week's effort. Cambosis Junior 340, because he's got the Quinella here, I think. 1, 7, 8 and 4 with Kostecki on top. What about you, Shorty? Yeah,
pretty keen, Kostecki. Like that run last week and looks very hard to beat once again. From 7, so Cozzy Quinella to bring it home. 8, Sunset Viper. And number 4 in Vander Colin. 1, 7, 8 and 4 for me in the lucky last. Who are your better bets tonight for Saturday night there, Jesse?
Race 3, number 1, Black Ness. Race 8, number 4, Custard Manelli at value. And race 10, number 1, Kostecki. For a quaddie, we'll go 1, 3, 7 the first leg, 2, 6, 7, 8 the second leg, 1 and 8 the third leg, and bring it home with 1, 2, 4, 7. What about yourself there, Shorty?
Yes, for me, my best bets on the program, race 2, number 6, Sage Tennille, race 3, number 1, Black Ness, and race 7, pardon me, what's the... Not race. Yeah, it was race 7, number 8, Window Shopper, the third of those. So 2, 6 to go along with 3, 1 and 7, 8. Best bets on the program. And from a quaddie perspective, first leg numbers are 1, 3 and 7. Second leg numbers 7 and 8. In the third leg, going with numbers 2 and 8, and home with 1, 2, 4 and 7.
Thanks for that, Shorty. Jesse Erenshaw, David Shortte joining you for Chasing Winners on this Friday morning. Matt McDermott will take you through race day, but first, here's the first from Mildura.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.